This is Julian from Real Social Dynamics here in Seattle. And what I want to talk about is comfort, like building comfort, and how oftentimes this is something that is massively misinterpreted. Whenever I ask someone what is building comfort, or what is comfort to you? On one hand, people tend to think that there's a certain stage in the interaction where you build comfort, where it's I'm going to open, then I'm going to hook, and now it's time for the comfort building. Where it's I didn't pull, it's because I fucked up on the comfort building stage. And they think that there's this little stage where they do something different or do something special to build comfort. Get the girl to talk about herself, get the girl to open up, ask her about past experiences, so she feels comfortable sharing that with you, or ask her about her wildest fantasies, something personal where she can really feel that deep connection with you, and that is building comfort. If you don't do that, your interactions aren't going to go anywhere. That's what solidifies it, and you have to do that. Ask her little questions about where she got her dress. This is comfort, okay? Now that is wrong. That is not necessarily what comfort is, and that is the wrong frame of mind, okay? The way that I personally like to view comfort is, first of all, not as a stage in the interaction, okay? It starts from the moment that I say hi, and basically what it is, it's togetherness, okay? That's what I like to call it. It's building comfort is reinforcing togetherness, reinforcing that bubble, as Tim calls it, reinforcing the fact that you and her are an entity, you and her are a team. Okay. Now, the reason people tend to think that, if you change all these different topics, get her to talk about herself, it creates comfort, isn't because of the fact she's talking about all these topics. It's because all the topics are changing and you and her are remaining the same. Okay. It's you two are the constants, the topics are the variables. Okay. So bouncing around different topics can create comfort. Yes. Now, bouncing around different environments does the same. The environment's constantly changing, but you and her remain the same. And also bouncing her around different emotions creates comfort, because again, the emotions are changing, but it's you and her moving through all those different emotions, reinforcing that togetherness, okay? That's what comfort is. And of course, there's some ways to amplify it, but don't view it as a certain stage or something that you need to proactively do, okay? Don't think I'm building comfort, she's talking about herself. Think, am I reinforcing that we are a team, okay? Now, some ways to do that, or to amplify it, if you will. Future adventures projections, okay? Actually projecting you and her in the future doing something, okay? Reinforcing you're a team. It's we should hang out tomorrow. We should totally go for coffee. You should be my little tour guide of the city, something like that, where she starts picturing you and her as a certain entity. Another one could be conspiracy theories or role plays, where you come up with all these little, secrets that you and her have that most people don't know about, okay? It's me and you, now we're a little team, we have this little secret, other people don't know about it. You can go up to other girls with her, open them, say this is my sister, make out with her, we're very close. Something I do for fun is I wait for a girl to walk by, I tap her on the shoulder, I'm hey, this is my girlfriend, just out of the blue, and it's a little weird, but again, it reinforces we are a thing. Okay, we are together. This is what comfort is. Lastly, an easy way to do this, and this is my personal favorite, is asking her about hypothetical scenarios. The whole what would you do if, or have you ever, okay? What would you do if, say you met this guy, and say he took you home and you're about to fuck and he takes his pants off and say he has a really small dick, okay? What would you do? Would you say something or would you just take it? Okay. Now, funny enough, that one does a lot of things. It spikes your emotions just because it's very ridiculous. And, it also kind of introduces the sexual topic to the interaction. But overall, what does it do in terms of togetherness? It's now you and her looking at this hypothetical scenario, projecting yourselves in it. It's you and her are together. Now, when you come from this frame, what's cool is that you don't necessarily need to be that logical, okay? You don't have to have that resume exchange type of vibe, where you walk up to a girl and you're well, what's your name? What do you do? Where are you from? Where do you live? How old are you? And just think that the more you know about each other, the better, and the more solid the interaction is. A lot of my interactions right now are very illogical, okay? It's basically just me going up and just going through all these what would you do ifs. What would you do if, he was the small dick? And say you didn't say anything, and say he then looked at you and is it small? Would you answer? And what about this? And have you ever? And it's all these hypothetical scenarios. And I have videos like this in the hot seat where when I show it at the end, you're well, what does this girl know about me? And she knows nothing. Logically, she doesn't necessarily even know my name. She doesn't know what I do. She doesn't know where I live. She doesn't know shit about me. yet it feels like she has, okay? And when you watch it, it feels like we've gone through this whole adventure together, and that's what comfort is, you know? It's like we have reinforced this togetherness, okay? Me and the girl, we are now a team. We've been through all these hypothetical scenarios, all these emotions, all these environments, and we've built the interaction together, okay? And that's what comfort is, reinforcing togetherness and building the vibe, building the interaction together, let go of the logical side of it, focus more on the sub-communications. Until next time.